Hey everyone, Average Pat here to sit to chat today about the movie Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Oh, there we go, got an A-frame. I went and saw that today. Today is the 23rd. The film was released on November 21st, which was Wednesday. From what I've seen reviews-wise, a lot of people love it, a lot of people hate it, a lot of people are indecisive because it's a sequel. Here's my opinions on it. The cast is phenomenal as always. John C. Reilly returns as Ralph himself. Sarah Silverman is Vanellope. Jack McBrayer is Felix. Jane Lynch is Calhoun. Ed O'Neill, surprisingly, is the voice of Litwick, the arcade owner, which I didn't realize he was in the first one as well. Little tiny cameos that people don't appreciate, that don't try to take too much credit for it. But this one actually introduces a new character of Gal Gadot portraying Shank in a movie called Slaughter Race, or excuse me, a game called Slaughter Race, which is a new hardcore internet-based racing game, which of course Vanellope adores and loves. Overall, this is a great commercial. Tons of advertisements for every company imagined. Instagram, Snapchat, Google, Amazon, eBay, obviously. There's tons of ads for everybody. But it's all in good humor. There's no real one's better than the other. We're going to focus on one. We're not going to focus on the other. They do focus on eBay for one extent because they're trying. The purpose of the movie is they're trying to buy a new steering wheel for Sugar Rush, which is Vanellope's game. Of course, the hilarious aspect of them being on the internet and not being familiar with actual money, they wound up outbidding themselves and owing a considerable amount of money to buy the part. So the whole story of the movie is them trying to come across the money to buy said steering wheel to save Sugar Rush. Otherwise, the game is unplugged and everybody who's in the game is now homeless, which they showed in the first Wreck-It Ralph, with unplugging and the threat of something being taken offline. Overall, again, it's a great movie. There's a great moral to it, a great friendship story. There's wonderful jokes. The one-liners are ever-flowing, as always. They are a little bit more on the not as Disney-ish, if you will, for some of them. But they get a lot of good ones in there. There's plenty of adult jokes that are heavily referenced. Jane Lynch and Jack McBrayer share the, quote, secret to raising perfect kids, and nobody can hear it because there's cars driving by. And one of the characters actually says, "Jay, I just wish every parent could ever hear that one. That would explain so much." And it's a great one line that all the adults in the theater quite understood very well, and all the kids didn't quite get that at all. Without ruining the whole story as to how things come about and everything goes around, it's a great movie. It's a little bit more scarier than the first one. Turbo's not the enemy in this one. I can't get into the details of who the enemy is without spoiling the movie, which I don't want to do. I'm not a big fan of spoiling. However, it's easy to explain how it's so resolved. There are plenty of fun moments. There are plenty of hidden little references. There's a great scene where they go to ohmydisney.com and they see TIE fighters, the First Order soldiers. They see the Disney princesses, which we're seeing in the trailer. The interaction with them is quite... the jokes are just nonstop with all them. There's so many good little lines and interactions, and it flows very well. Typical as a Disney movie, the animation is smooth. I was pleasantly surprised that it was almost as good as the original. Obviously, as a sequel, it's not going to be as fresh or as exciting as the original. This one does a very good job of trying to live up to that hype, and was pretty close. Overall, I'd give it a 4 out of a 5. It's a decent movie with a great cast, with great lines that keep you on your toes. There is an overall moral to the story. The storyline has a plot. It makes sense. They follow it. It's not something where they just kind of, here's a reason to do it, and go do it, and we're not going to explain how or why. This is very well explained, and they develop it quite well. The story flows. The character development is necessary. Probably could have done a little bit more with Shank and her crew from Slaughter Race. but there's only so much they can do without taking away from the overall story. So again, I give it a 4 out of 5. Go see it. I went and saw it in 3D. When you go see it in 3D, you get a little collector card when you're at Regal Cinemas. I'm not sure if it's going to be at all the movies that way. Another collectible card to add to my collection. But it's definitely worth it for the visuals of when they go into the internet to see the expanse of it, how big everything is, and the graphics as it goes along. It's pretty neat to see in 3D. If you enjoy my review, you enjoy any of my reviews, please click like on them. Subscribe to my YouTube page. I always have more coming out. I'm probably going to go see Creed 2 tomorrow if I'm able to. I got a lot more planned coming up for this site and the reviews. Hopefully everybody likes them. Give me a comment, give me a like, let me know what you think. I look forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.